Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. We've got some entitled parents to hear about, so let's jump right into our first story of the day by Commotionable. Entitled parent is triggered by my gayness. I came out in June announcing I'm full lesbian. Simultaneously, I also worked up the courage to ask out this girl I've been crushing on. We've been friends for about 4 years now. So my girlfriend lives in Philly, but she was overdue for a vacay. Even though I'm afraid of what is currently going on in the world, she was able to get on a plane and fly to spend time with me in Vegas. She is actually resting on my lap as I'm typing this. In previous stories, I have mentioned how my cousin has 7 kids and I usually do what I can to spend time with them. Well, last weekend I decided not to do deliveries and instead pick the kids up so they can meet and spend time with my girlfriend. She was down as she always wanted to meet them. So after indulging ourselves in one another for pretty much a week straight, we were pretty satisfied and ready to interact with other humankind, besides my roommate. I let my roommate in on the details and she is okay as long as her room remains untouched as she is going out of town to visit some family. I understood and gave these scouts honor. That's it for the backstory, on to the show. The day of, I call my cousin and let her know that I want to kidnap her kids. She agrees as she loves them, but any free time she can have is a treat. I go to my mom and harass her to borrow her truck. She agrees. Mom lives in the same apartment complex as my roommate and I, she has a hard time letting go. So my girlfriend and I go up to pick the 7 hooligans. Immediately they ask questions and my cousin helps explain. Now the kids aren't stupid, they are fully woke, but I guess to them, it's interesting to see gay up close and personal. We load them into the car and make our way to a mom and pop shop. Since we are in North Vegas, they usually have those shops everywhere and pretty much all of them have the Hispanic candy my cousins love. So we get out of the car, I give each child $10 to go wild. The 3 eldest decline as they have their own money from helping in the neighborhood. They take out their neighbor's trash. The kids divide and conquer and I grab a cart. My girlfriend follows me as we follow the 3 little ones. As kids do, they pick up candy and chips and explain how much they love it and how their friends had the same at their house. So at this point, all the kids have met up and the cart is half full. We stand in line, which is long, and with the 6-foot thing, it's even longer. So we are pretty much chilling in the drink aisle on a taped X on the ground. So I'm holding the cart, my girlfriend is behind me with her arms wrapped around me. She is a foot taller than me. And the kids are surrounding the car like they are top-flight security guards. As we wait, this kid comes up to us. The kid says, "Excuse me, are you in the line?" I say, "Yes, we are." He nods and goes behind us to the next spot of tape on the ground. Not even 4 or 5 minutes later, we hear from across the store a lady yell a name and the kid behind us yells back to answer. From the end of the aisle, a lady round the corner with her mile-high cart full of groceries. I move to the side so that she can pass, but she stops in front of us. Kid says, "I'm over here, Mom, I'm waiting like you told me to." Entitled mother looks me dead in the face. "Come up here, kid." I say, "Excuse me, ma'am, we are in line, you will need to get behind us." "No, it's fine, I'm just gonna go in front." The eldest, now aware and looking up from his phone, "Excuse me, you can't cut the line." Kid says, "Mom, just come back here." "You need to control your child." "You need to get to the back of the line." Entitled mother looks me up and down trying to find some ammo and then she spots my girlfriend's arms wrapped around me. She scoffs. "You two need to stop that. There are children around and they will copy what you do. If they see you being gay, that will make them gay as well. You should stop forcing your gayness on others around you." "Excuse me?" My girlfriend isn't really confrontational, so she goes to take her arms from around me, but I use my arms to hold her in place. My sexuality has nothing to do with who these kids are. They don't care about stuff like this because they are kids. Now get to the back of the line. Entitled mother realizes that she isn't getting anywhere and that all eyes are on her, shuffles her ignorance and intolerant butt to the back of the line. Now, my girlfriend and I reserve most of our love to the bedroom, so we aren't really heavy on PDA. But knowing how much it made entitled mother either uncomfortable or pissed off was enough to fill my petty meter. My girlfriend was mostly shy, but I was bold and had not one freak to give. Every time that entitled mother shot daggers in my back, I made it a point to tell my girlfriend how much I love her. I kissed her hand or even gave her gently a back massage. The kids were giggling as they were well aware of what was going on. Entitled Mother's kid was unfazed. The whole time, Entitled Mother was talking under her breath, saying things like, "They are all going to heck," or "That's so nasty, women are not meant to be together like that." Or my favorite, "They are probably using food stamps to pay for all of that. They should give those kids back to their fathers." Now this last one I feel had to do more with race, as my cousins are all mixed. I'm Hispanic and my girlfriend is black, but it's whatever. The kids weren't paying attention and neither was girlfriend, as she was too busy thinking about my hand on her butt. I waited till we got closer to the register before tricking my girlfriend to lean down so that I could pull her into a kiss. I heard Entitled Mother gag at this. My petty meter reached levels of petty some could only dream of. We bought our stuff. I made it a point to flash my credit card while I paid. Then off to the car we went. After loading the kids and stuff into the car, I couldn't help but notice that the car next to us beeped. I looked up to see the Entitled Mother making her way to her car. I figured one last show for my adoring audience couldn't hurt. I pulled my girlfriend down into a deep, passionate kiss. We literally made out until the Entitled Mother got into her car and drove off. The whole time she was gagging and dry heaving. Girlfriend says, "You really are a beehole, you know that?" I say, "But you love me for it." Now, I may have went too far with the last kiss, but we trigger people in public just by holding hands. Screw homophobes. Do you think that last display was a little overly petty, or do you think it was just what Entitled Mother deserved in the situation? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Edenflicka, entitled Mother, Anti-Masker, and the Extra Nintendo Switch. This happened about 5 minutes ago on the bus going into the city. There's a mom with 4 kids, one of them a toddler, the rest under 10. None of them are wearing masks because of course they aren't. It's way too warm, 35 degrees Celsius, so clearly they're exempt. I was sat a few seats further down in the bus with my Switch playing Animal Crossing New Horizons because it's an hour-long ride and I needed a distraction. Worth noting is that I have a second Switch in my bag because I'm on my way to get my partner. One of the kids, around 7, comes over and looks at my screen. He asks very politely if he can play, and I explain that unfortunately I can't let him play due to COVID, as he can't sit next to me to do so. He doesn't seem to mind and goes back to his mom. Then I hear this. Sweet kid says, "Mommy, she has a Switch. I'd like a Switch." Entitled Mom says, "I'll ask if you can play." Entitled Mother comes over to me and I explain again that he can't sit next to me to play because of COVID, so we can't have a go. She clearly doesn't like this and starts berating me about how I'm too old, 25-year-old female, and how I shouldn't be playing in public transport if I'm not willing to let kids have a go. What? She then spots the second Switch in my bag and offers to buy it off me for £50. I politely explain that it's my partner's and that it isn't for sale. Even if it was, it wouldn't be for 50 British pounds. She goes completely silent, then attempts to reach into my bag to grab it. I have somewhat quick reflexes, so I push her hand away and she's now fuming that I hit her. While this was going on, the nice kid and his devil siblings are all watching the exchange, some with delight, him with horror. The toddler during this interaction has been playing loud music, but clearly attempting to take my Switch is more important. I asked her to leave me alone and attend to her kids instead. She told me she would tell the bus driver I stole her Switch if I didn't give her one, and I just shrugged and went back to my game. She's now glaring at me from her seat, and I've pulled up the receipts just in case. I've befriended with a grandma across the aisle and we're communicating with eyebrow and shoulder expressions. This lady's crazy, this bus ride can't end sooner. That would just completely ruin any experience you were having. I wouldn't be able to play on my Switch because I would have to feel that paranoia of needing to constantly look around so this lady doesn't try and grab one of my own $500 consoles. We didn't hear about the end of the ride, so hopefully OP was able to just stay safe, stay away, and get off the bus when they needed to. This next story is by I Like Icing 454. Let me live in your house, even if it's the height of COVID-19. Backstory. My wonderful uncle, mom's brother, was perfectly fine when he was a kid. But when he finished high school, oh boy, it was pretty much gifted child burnout. The second he got out of school, he was surrounded by yes men his entire high school career and was average but thought he was the very incarnation of God. When he realized he couldn't go to Harvard or MIT, he threw a hissy fit and decided it was my mom's fault by bringing him down, and we barely ever saw him until last week. Cast: Mom is M, EU is entitled uncle, OP is me, YS is younger sister, YB is younger brother, Dad is D, Grandma staying at our house is G. The plot: it was the height of COVID and we were pretty weary of unnecessary human contact. Everything was fine. Younger sister and younger brother were watching TV. Mom and Dad were outside and OP was trying to deal with the crappy Wi-Fi. We heard a knock knock on the door and was confused. None of us ordered anything and we weren't expecting anyone. I opened the door, mask on, and saw entitled uncle looking crummy as usual. "Hey, kiddo." He never called me kiddo, mostly just ignored me. "Entitled uncle, what are you doing here, in the height of COVID cases?" "Well, your aunt kicked me out for being a nuisance and narcissistic. The witch will regret it." Mom says, "Oh, entitled uncle. So in the meantime, I want to live here." OP says, "I'm sorry, man, but Grandma is staying here in the spare bedroom and we really don't feel comfortable letting someone in, let alone letting them stay here for who knows how long." "Just kick the tramp out." Younger sister and younger brother say, "What? We can't kick her out." Dad says, "Don't talk about my ma like that, entitled uncle." Entitled uncle was having none of that and walked in like he owned the place. He walked up to Grandma's room and we heard some stuff. Grandma said, "Entitled uncle, get away from me, help." "Come on, doll, now you're just being selfish." Younger sister said, "You bleep." Younger sister is a sports captain and she did not hold back. Younger brother was also ready to give a sucker punch to entitled uncle. Everything went pretty fast. Younger sister kicked entitled uncle out of the house with younger brother tossing his suitcase in a conveniently placed bush, and we shut the door on him. He stayed there for a bit before probably going to a motel or whatever's open. So not only is he narcissistic and annoying and a nuisance, but he's also pretty creepy and pretty scary. The way he just kind of forced himself inside and up to the grandma's room? No, thank you. I'm glad younger sister was there to just yeet him out of the building. And our next story is by Shadowcat652, entitled "Parent Tries to Call Cops Over Me Using a Handicap Spot." For context, I am a 25-year-old disabled female. I have a handicap placard. I can walk, but it's very difficult to. I realized I was out of stuff for my bearded dragon salad because the collard greens went bad. I decided to go to the store real quick, but it wasn't until I got halfway there that I realized that I left my cane at home. It was a good day and I wasn't in too much pain, so I decided that turning around would be foolish, and if they had an electric car to the store, I'd just use that. I get to the store and I'm happy to see that there's one handicap spot left and I snagged it. I grabbed my mask and started walking to the front doors when I'm blocked by entitled mother who is livid. She points her finger at my car and got right in my face, like nose to nose. Neither of us have masks on as I have only taken about 10 steps and I'm still getting my mask to my face. I'm horrified and I take many steps back and throw my mask up as fast as I can. "Excuse me, you're in a handicap spot and people like you are why my kid had to walk far to the door. You need to move your car now." "Ma'am, I have a right to be in the spot. I have a placard. I am disabled." "You're not disabled. You don't have a wheelchair. You don't look disabled at all." "Well, ma'am, I'm disabled and my doctor agrees, so I'm going shopping." "What about my kid? He has problems walking because of some medical issues." Shocked kid says, "Mom, it's not a big deal. I walked around the store fine. I'm getting better. I'm gonna go shop now. You look like you're done shopping. Sorry there were no open spots when you got here. They look really busy." I then walked around them and went into the store. They didn't have electric carts, and so I just grabbed a regular cart and leaned on it while getting my dragon's fruits and veggies. I was only in the store about 20 minutes as I like to pick a bunch of different things to give Kyoshi some variety. No one likes to eat the same thing every day. I'm walking out of my car and see multiple people standing around, including a police officer. I see entitled mother looking very smug and shocked kid like he wants to die. I approach my car nervously because I have no idea what to do. I've never been in this situation before.
This is the woman who was using the handicap spot without being disabled.
She points at me and looks like she's aided in catching a dangerous criminal. Police officer says, "Ma'am, is this your car? Is that your placard in the windshield?" I say, "Yes, sir, and I can give you the info I got with the placard and my ID to prove it." Police officer said that would be great. So I get my stuff out of the glove box and also pull up my disability papers on my phone because I'm literally terrified of what's gonna happen. Entitled mother is talking about how I am so in the wrong and I'm gonna have to pay a fine, and I'm shaking. Police officer says, "Well, everything seems in order here. I'm sorry about this hassle. Feel free to leave at any time and have a great day." Entitled mother looks livid. She starts saying how I can't be disabled, I just can't. Police officer asks her to follow him over to her car. I start loading my groceries and I'm trying to get out of there as fast as possible. Shocked kid says, "I'm really sorry about her. I don't know what is wrong with her. I have braces on my legs to help me walk better. You can't see them with my pants on and they really help. But she gets so crazy when she can't park up front." Shocked kid goes back to his mom, who looks like she is getting a reaming from the officer. I leave quickly because I'm still so freaked out about what happened. After hearing this story, I actually kind of hope entitled mother did get a good reaming about using emergency services for something that isn't an emergency. And especially when you're blatantly wrong about it. This person had the card for it. How much more blunt can you be? You have the documentation that says you're handicapped. Entitled mother doesn't understand the concept of airsoft or orange tips on guns. So this is kind of weird for me because I only had one experience with an entitled mother, but this was pretty funny. On mobile, so I'm not sorry. Some context. Me and my dad both go shooting and we are both proud gun owners. He owns all the firearms in our house, except one shotgun being a gift to me, and some pellet and BB guns. I own one pellet gun and a couple airsoft guns. Now, all the airsoft guns have orange tips on them, but the pellet gun doesn't. And now to the bull. So I was out in my backyard shooting at a target that I got for my birthday. Those splattering targets that have zombies on them. And I just had my airsoft guns on me, but I did have my pellet gun out there too. As I was shooting, there was an entitled mother that decided to come up to the fence to question me.
Excuse me, what do you think you're doing playing with a gun? You're gonna kill someone.
I'm sorry, what? This is an airsoft rifle.
What kind of Gen Z lingo is that? That's clearly a real gun.
Are you serious? It's not a real gun. Look at the orange tip.
That doesn't mean shoot. It's a gun and I'm calling the cops.
Now I'm pissed. Now she's gotta bring the cops out for such a stupid waste of time. The police show up, 2 guys in 1 car, and talk to both of us. I had the gun on me, which clearly resembled a toy gun. Orange tip and ridiculous looking magazine. And they both knew exactly what was going on.
He has a gun. He's gonna kill us all. He's gonna start shooting up schools.
Police officer 1 says, "Ma'am, he's not gonna kill anyone. It's an airsoft gun."
Air what? That's stupid. It's a gun. What do you guys not get? It's a gun.
Police officer 2 says, "Ma'am, it's not a real gun. It shoots plastic balls." I take the magazine out and empty some rounds into my hand. Look, it's not real bullets. It's fake.
He's tricking you two. Arrest him now. He's gonna kill us.
The cops got pissed off and we had to talk with her for around an hour trying to convince her what airsoft was. I was home alone at the time, but my parents came back and joined in. My dad asked if he could bring out a real gun to show the difference. We then had a very real metal rifle being compared to a plastic gun that had a very bright orange tip on the end. The mom became frustrated and still had no clue. It was very, very infuriating trying to teach her. She just leaves and everyone goes back to their day. The next week, I'm outside with my pellet gun, no orange tip, and I'm shooting. The compressed air sometimes breaks the sound barrier so it sounds like a real gunshot. Guess who comes back? Police officer 1, "Ma'am, it's not a real gun."
Yes, it is. You're all being brainwashed.
About a half hour of arguing later, the mom leaves. The cops said I was doing everything right and it was the mom who was delusional. They just put her under some sort of watch and I kept on with my day. I haven't seen her again, but if I do, I'll update you on it. So I don't blame her for being concerned. If she genuinely didn't understand it at first, there's really nothing wrong for being concerned about safety. That said, they should be able to learn from the police officers that it's a not real gun, it's a plastic gun, it's an airsoft gun. Or for the pellet gun, that's also not real and nobody's in danger. They're not going to shoot you or kill anybody or anything like that. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe and turn notifications on if you haven't. All of those things help the channel out so incredibly much. So no matter what you did, whether it was commenting, liking, subscribing, thank you all so very much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. That said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time right here.